properly? तुम्ही मला व्यवस्थित ऐकू शकता का? Good. That's nice. So I will share my screen. So can you see my screen now? And you can hear me properly too, right? तुम्ही मला व्यवस्थित ऐकू शकता आणि माझी स्क्रीन सुद्धा व्यवस्थित बघू शकता. Okay, so let's start with today's topic. I think we have already covered about rational number, irrational numbers आणि irrational numbers number line वर कसे दाखवायचे वगैरे ते आपण गेल्या चॅप्टर मध्ये कव्हर केलेलं आहे. So we will start with the new chapter. It's called parallel line and transversal. So let's recall. So what here they want to mention is the lines in the same plane which do not intersect each other are called parallel lines. What does it mean? Means दोन लाईन ज्या कधीही मिळत नाहीत एकमेकांना त्यांना पॅरल लाईन म्हटलं जातं. सो तुम्ही इथे बघू शकता लाईन एल अँड लाईन एम. ह्या दोन्हीही अशा आहेत की त्या जर आपण बघितल्या व्यवस्थित तर त्या पुढे कुठे पण एकमेकांना मिळणार नाहीये. त्या म्हणजे दिस इज कॉल्ड पॅरल लाईन्स. इट विल नॉट इंटरसेक्ट इच अदर. सो दिस इज द मेन प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ पॅरल लाईन. सो पॅरल लाईन तुम्हाला बघायचं असतील तर आता आपण पॅरल लाईन कुठे वापरतो, बरोबर आहे की नाही? म्हणजे आपण जर डेली एक्झाम्पल बघितलं तर आपल्या घराची वॉल असते, बरोबर आहे. आपण जर व्यवस्थित बघितलं वॉलला तर ह्या दोन लाईन असतात. सॉरी, आय एम सॉरी फॉर नॉट गुड फिगर. सो लेट्स या. सो ही आपल्या एका भिंतीची वॉल आहे समजा. सॉरी, आपल्या घराची एक वॉल आहे. सो ही भिंत आहे तर त्याच्यामध्ये ह्या दोन लाईन्स आहेत एल आणि एम. ह्या एकमेकांना कधीच मिळत नाहीत, बरोबर आहे. सर आपल्याला एक स्ट्रक्चर बनवायचं, आपल्याला एक भिंत बनवायची आणि ह्या जर दोन लाईन आहेत ह्या कधीच मिळाल्या नाही पाहिजे. म्हणून आपल्याला नेहमी जेव्हा पण आपण भिंत बनवतो तेव्हा ह्या दोन लाईन पॅरल आहेत की नाही हे चेक केलं जातं. आता जे गवंडी असतात किंवा मॅसनरीज बोलतात त्यांना, सो दे विल डू सम इन्स्पेक्शन. म्हणजे ते लोक टेस्टिंग करतात की ह्या दोन भिंतीच्या गोष्टी पॅरल आहेत की नाही, तरच त्यांचं स्ट्रक्चर व्यवस्थित असेल. जर ते जर पॅरल नसतील तर काय होईल, आपली भिंत अशी काहीतरी बनेल, बरोबर आहे. सो दॅट्स नॉट अ गुड आयडिया. सो जेव्हा पण आपल्याला अशा भिंत बनवायच्या असतील किंवा आपल्याला पूल बनवायचे आहेत तर ह्या पॅरल गोष्टीचा खूप उपयोग पडतो. म्हणून पॅरल लाईन्स काय असतं आणि त्यांचे गुणधर्म काय असतात, त्यांच्या प्रॉपर्टीज काय असतात, त्या आपल्याला समजून घेणं खूप गरजेचं असतं. सो लेट्स मूव्ह टू द नेक्स्ट थिंग. सो आपल्याला माहिती आहे की दोन लाईन ज्या कधीही मिळणार नाहीत त्यांना पॅरल लाईन म्हटलं जातं. सो आता आपण नवीन गोष्ट बघतोय, हे तर तुम्हाला माहित असेलच, म्हणजे अगोदरच्या इयत्तेत वगैरे तुम्ही शिकला असालच पॅरल लाईन विषयी. नाउ लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट थिंग, दॅट इज ट्रान्सव्हर्सल. सो हिअर ट्रान्सव्हर्सल, सो इन द ऍडजॉइनिंग फिगर, म्हणजे ह्या फिगर मध्ये आपण बघू शकता या आकृतीमध्ये line L intersects line M and line N at two distinct points. Okay, line L is a transversal of line M and N. आता ह्याचा अर्थ काय बघूया आपण. तर इथे आपण बघू शकता की एक लाईन आहे. I will try to explain through this stuff. Okay, so जी लाईन L आहे ती लाईन M आणि N ला दोन ठिकाणी इंटरसेक्ट करते. तर दोन पॉइंट कोणते आहेत, ए अँड बी. ओके, सो ही एक लाईन जी दोन ठिकाणी दोन लाईनना इंटरसेक्ट करते तर त्या लाईन एल ला इज कॉल्ड ट्रान्सव्हर्सल. दिस लाईन एल इज कॉल्ड ट्रान्सव्हर्सल ऑफ एम अँड एन. ओके, पण इथे तुम्ही म्हणजे इट्स व्हेरी कॉमन थिंग लाईक ट्रान्सव्हर्सल, इट डझंट मीन दॅट M and N should be parallel. Okay, so M आणि N ह्या लाईन पॅरलच आहेत असं नाहीये. त्या कोणत्या पण दोन लाईन असतील, पण ही एक लाईन त्या दोन्ही लाईनला छेदते किंवा इंटरसेक्ट करते. त्यामुळे त्यांना एल ला ट्रान्सव्हर्सल ऑफ एम एन एन असं म्हटलं जातं. ओके. इफ अ लाईन इंटरसेक्ट्स, सो याची डेफिनेशन दिलेली आहे त्यांनी. इफ अ लाईन इंटरसेक्ट्स गिवन टू लाईन्स इन अ टू डिस्टिंक्ट पॉइंट्स, then that line is called ट्रान्सव्हर्सल ऑफ दोज टू लाईन्स. म्हणजे एक लाईन जर कोणत्याही दोन लाईनना इंटरसेक्ट करते दोन पॉइंट्समध्ये, तर त्याला ट्रान्सव्हर्सल ऑफ त्या दोन लाईनचं ट्रान्सव्हर्सल असं म्हटलं जातं. सो आपण पुढे बघूया की त्या ट्रान्सव्हर्सल लाईनमुळे कोणकोणते डिफरंट अँगल्स किंवा डिफरंट कोन निर्माण होतात. सो वी विल ट्राय टू see, like we will try to check on the different angles made by transversal line. So angles made by transversal. In the adjoining figure, due to transversal, there are two distinct points of intersection. Okay, आपण ह्या फिगर मध्ये बघू तर आपण बघू शकता की जी ट्रान्सव्हर्सल लाईन आहे टी, ओके, ए टी, ट्रान्सव्हर्सल लाईन ए टी ही एम आणि एन, आपण बघू शकता एम आणि एन इथे इंटरसेक्ट करते. So I think some students are writing about 10th question, and so I'm a bit confused. I know there was some math test, but I'm really not familiar with that questions and those stuff. But yeah, I will go through that, and I will convey your message, and I will try to answer those stuff. So I don't know the problem, so I can't answer your question right now. But we will try to focus on today's lecture, not about yesterday's maths stuff. So whenever I get a chance, I will go through that. Okay. So right now we are working on angles made by transversal. So here, if the line AT, okay, is intersecting two lines, right? These are the two lines PQ and RS. So PQ and RS are two lines, and A is transversal of PQ and RS line. So there are, we can see that it is intersected at M and N. Okay. So each of means we can see that there are a lot of angles made by this transversal. So we'll go through that. Like, so here we can see that 8 angles in all are made by this transversal and intersection. Okay, so we will try to write down the which are those angles. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So totally 8 angles are made by this transversal. So let's try to understand one by one. So we can write. So can you write down the angle number 1? Which, so I will, okay. First angle is angle 1. I will try to write it down so that angle A M P is the first angle. Okay. So please try to write angle number 2 in the chat box so that we will go through this exercise very quickly. What is the angle number 2? Can you write it down? AMQ, that's good. Angle number 3, come on. PMN, that's correct. Yes, angle number 4, and this is the angle number 4. So QMN, yeah, that's fine. That's good. Angle number 5. I know there is some issue with internet speed and everything, but that's fine. I'm just trying to understand that whether you could grasp this stuff. Like there are 8 angles made by transversal. So this is the 5 and this is 6. So number 5, what is the angle 5? So RNM, yes, that's correct. Angle number 6, SNM, that's correct. Angle number 7, RNT. And angle number 8 is SNT. That's nice. So these are the total angle, 8 angles are made by uh, this transversal. So always, sorry, remember that if there is one line and intersecting two other lines at two different points like M and N, then there are total 8 angles are made as we described here. Okay, so let's go further and we will try to understand the name of those angles, right? So we know corresponding angles. Okay, sorry, I think. Okay, so these are the corresponding angles. So corresponding angles, if I will go through definition, then I will try to explain in Marathi and English, and then we will go through one by one. So if the arms on a transversal of pair of angles are in the same direction and other arms are in the same side of the transversal, then it is called pair of corresponding angle. Yeah, I know it's too means too it's too glitch to understand, but we will try to you know uh, see the part by part. So if the arms of, okay, so we will start with one by one what they want to convey the message, right? If the arms of transversal of a pair of angles are in the same direction, okay, and the other arms are on the same side of transversal, then it is called pair of corresponding angle. So if the arms of transversal angle, so what is mean by arm, right? So this is the arm, right? AM, this is AM is called um, arms of the transversal. So pairs of angle made in the same direction. Okay. So in the pair of angle made in the same direction. So what are those angles in the same direction? Okay. These are the angles it made by on the same direction. It's called uh, corresponding angle. Okay. So there are pairs like this. So there are 8 angles, right? So how many pairs will be made of corresponding angle? Can you write down in the chat box? Oh, that's pretty fast. That's nice. That's really liked the promptness of all the students. It shows really real brilliance and nice, guys. So there are totally 8 angles and 4 pairs, right? So there will be 4 pairs of the corresponding angle. So I'm just trying to change by changing the different colors, we can see the corresponding angle. So corresponding angle हे काय असतं तर एक लाईन आहे आपण बघू शकता लाईन ए ची आणि त्यांनी बनवलेले कोन ऑन द वन साइड अँड वन डिरेक्शन ओनली ओके सो दीज angles like A, M, Q and M and S. So this is the one angle, right? These are the pairs, and this is called corresponding angle. Uh, corresponding angles are like मराठीत त्यांना काहीतरी संगत कोन म्हणतात. So these are the sangat cone. So this corresponding angle has some properties and it's very useful. As we go through this chapter, we will try to understand more about this corresponding angle. So for time being, please keep in mind that these are the pairs of corresponding angles. Okay. So whatever the dot, red dot or green cross or blue cross or this pink line, whatever I have mentioned, those are the angles pairs of the corresponding angle. So now we understood the corresponding angle. Let's try to understand interior angle. Okay. So pair of angle which are on the same side of the transversal and inside of the given lines is called pair of interior angles. So it's very simple to understand, but we will try to get part by part. So pair of angles which are on the same side of transversal. So it should be on the same side. So this is the AT is the, uh, we know that this is a transversal, right? So it should be on the same side. So this is the side. Okay, we will understand this is the side. Okay, this side. So for this side, what we will do, we will try to understand inside the given lines. So what is the inside of this given lines? So PQ and RS are the lines. So on the given inside, so this is the inner, not outer. This, so on inner side red, whatever the red mentioned is inner area, right? So what are those angles are called interior angles. This on one side only, right? So what is those angles? Q, M, N, and M and S. Okay. So these are the pair of interior angle. So very clear. So these are on one side only, right? So these are the by definitions. So let's see. They have mentioned some more angles, and we will try to understand what are those pairs. So see, PMN, MNR, QMN, MNS. Okay. So about corresponding angles, this thing like already we have went through the exercise. We have shown like four pairs and total 8 angles. We already mentioned. For interior angles, there are only 2 pairs. Okay. Uh, so what are those 2 pairs? We will try to mention here. So already we defined like this angle and this angle. These are the interior angle pairs, right? So similarly on other side, right? It's in definition it has mentioned about one direction as well as other direction or other side. So दुसरी बाजू कोणती आहे तर ही आहे. So angle made by transversal on inside of those two lines are called interior angles. So त्यांना अंतर्गत कोन असं नाव आहे मराठीत. So if you are a bit familiar with Marathi also, or you are learning all this stuff in Marathi, then yeah, it has name Antargat Kon. So let's go to the next thing. So hopefully you are now bit clear about corresponding angle and interior angles. Corresponding angles has 4 pairs, but interior angles has 2 pairs. So why can't interior angles have 4 pairs? Because the definitions says that uh, then definition shows of interangle is like PMN or RNM, that on one side of transversal and inner side of those intersecting lines, right? So by definition itself, the interangles are defined in such a way that there will be only 2 pairs. Okay. Hmm. Okay, when I know it's a bit different, but okay. So I know you mentioned like 4 pairs, right? Total 8 angles are made by these two lines, right? So suppose if I know it's different question itself. So if suppose this is a transversal, and instead of one, if I have 3 lines, then how many angles will be there? How many total angles will be there? Mm-hmm. That's really good answer. That's nice. Okay. So yeah, now I feel that that's good. So another question I will put here. So how many pairs of interior angles will be there in this figure? Hmm. Some are writing 4 pairs, some are writing 8. Frankly speaking, I also don't know. Oh, I have to count. So, but yeah, this is good try. I'm just thinking. It means I was not having the question and answer ready, but yeah, on fly, I feel that I should ask you questions. But yeah, we can count here. That's not a big deal. Sorry. So let's. Okay. So this is the one pair. This is the second. This is the third. This is the fourth. Okay. And I can see only 4 pairs, right? For interior angles, but there is some more stuff to. I'm asking about pairs of interior angles because interior angles are not only angles, right? It will be always in pairs. So yeah, so we can see at prima facie whenever we see this figure, we will see that okay, there are only 4 pairs, right? But but there are two more too. So if we consider, uh, okay, I will put the name so that L M N. Okay, so between line L and N, so there will be angle, right? Interior angles. Those will be another 2 pairs. So total 6 pairs, right? Are you getting my question? So there are 3 lines and there are like 6 pairs, right? So I know this is maybe out of syllabus, but this is general. I'm just provoking your thought process. I'm trying to, this is not very rocket science, right? Just instead of adding, there are means you are learning about 2 lines and one transversal, but instead of 2 lines, if we increase 3 lines, then what will happen? So this is the general, thought process I'm trying to inculcate in you guys. म्हणजे तुम्हाला अशी थॉट प्रोसेस देतोय की असा विचार करत राहा. म्हणजे आता 2च लाईन दिल्या तर 3 लाईन काय होतील? 3 लाईनचं काय असू शकतं? आता 2 लाईनना फक्त 2च पेअर होत्या इंटरव्यू अँगलच्या, पण 3 लाईन केल्यावर आपल्याला किती मिळाले? 6 पेअर्स मिळाल्या, राईट? सो these are the thought process. So that's what I want from you guys. I know, uh, means whatever I am teaching, you will learn, you will get good grades also. But thinking process is also important parameter as you are going ahead in your life and career. It will be very helpful for you guys. So let's move to the next topic, that is alternate angles. So alternate angle. Uh, okay, we'll try to go part by part to understand the. Okay, pair of angles. So see, it is always pair of angles. It is not only one angle. So please see that there will be always and pairs of this alternate angle, corresponding angle, or interior angles. So pair of angle which are opposite side of transversal and their arms on the transversal show opposite direction is called pair of alternate angles. Sorry. So here it is mentioned that on the opposite side of transversal. So we know, but we will try to just put the dots here. So we know this and this on the opposite side, right? These are the called, uh, sorry. Okay. So alternate angles is a pair of angles which are on the opposite side of transversal and their arms on the transversal show opposite direction is called pair of alternate angles. So we will try to go by definition. So on uh, opposite side of transversal, right? So this is the opposite side. So on opposite side and on like these are the two angles which are made and their arms on the transversals. So we can see that angle QMN and angle MNR are called alternate angles. So what does it mean? So these are the angles which are the on opposite side of the transversal. Okay. So there are particular properties for this all pairs, and from that we can understand more about those lines. Hence, these angles are defined. Okay, so there are another two types: interior alternate angles and exterior alternate angles. Okay, what I will do. So going up and down. I will try to make this figure again so that A, T, P, Q, M, R, S, N. Okay, so that it will be easy for us to understand in better way. Okay, so there are alternate angles. So as we define that QMN and MNR are alternate angles, right? This pair of alternate angles. But there are more definition for that: interior alternate angle and exterior alternate angle. So angles on inner side of lines. So as we mentioned, right? I will take another color so that. So on inner side, this is the inner side, right, of these lines. So what are the angles defined inner side? Is called interior alternate angles, like PMN. So I will define here PMN and MNS, right? And QMN. So these are the angles made in the opposite direction, but it is in interior side of the two lines. So it is called interior alternate angles, whereas exterior alternate angles are on outside of the line. So we will define those. I will take another color for that. Mm, okay, blue is good. So AMP and TNS. Okay, TNS. These are the exterior alternate angles. Similarly, on this side, AMQ and RMT. So basically, these are the pairs. So totally 4 pairs are there for the alternate angle, right? Um, so if we consider here, so For corresponding angle, there are total 4 pairs. For alternate angles, there are 4 pairs. For interior angles, there are 2 pairs. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the some exercise problem so that we'll get more into the stuff. So we know that this is the figure, and all angles are marked by P, Q, R, S on this side, and whereas W, X, Y, Z on the other side. So there are 8 angles, and we will try to understand the uh, like what are the corresponding angle and alternate angles. Okay, so let's go one by one. We will try to see this exercise very quickly. So instead of going all the problems, we will go some selective one. So let's try with this one. Okay. So corresponding angle is R, angle R. So what is the corresponding angle? For R, what is the corresponding angle? Yeah, people are getting good. Yeah, that's good. Y, that's correct answer. And then we will try to understand. Interior alternate angle is angle S. And what is the answer? This is alternate angle, right? This is not interior angle only. So this is bit what we can say is bit confusing, but they have mentioned this is alternate angle. So I think all should be good in that aspect. Okay, so yeah, so right answer is X. That's correct. Not W or anything. I will. So I will try to switch. So what is the answer for this? So what is corresponding angle with reference to angle Q? Mm-hmm. People are writing X. That's correct. That's correct. Yes. So let's go to the next stuff. This will try to go. Okay, observe the angles shown in the figure and write the following pair of the angles. Okay, so I think that is more self-explanatory, and we have discussed a lot on this. So I will skip this thing, and I will keep it for you guys. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. So yeah, this is one of the sorry. Uh, Good area where we have to focus on like properties of angle found by two parallel lines and a transversal. So till now we were understanding that there are 8 angles, means the interior angles आहेत किंवा corresponding angles आहेत, but two lines where the transversal is intersecting. Those two lines are not parallel till now, right? But if those lines are parallel, then what are the properties? Okay, so we will learn more about this thing. Okay, so here they are mentioned like activity one. Here we will understand what they're trying to explain here, as shown in figure A. Okay, this is the figure A. Draw two parallel lines. They have drawn the two parallel lines and their transversals on the paper. Okay, they have mentioned this transversal also. This is the transversal line. Draw a copy of figure on another blank sheet using a trace paper as shown in the figure B. So they are trying, I mean, they are making us to draw this on the another paper. So yeah, as shown in figure B. Okay, on figure B, we can make a two lines, again, two parallel lines, and they're transversal two. So now color part one and part two with the different colors. Cut out the two parts with a pair of scissors. So they are means they're telling us to make this exercise, but I know that I can't show you right now through the uh, videos or anything. But yeah, this exercise we can carry out at the home also. So they are mentioning that please make these two parts, okay? And but uh, what what is the uh, what is the observation of this experiment? So they are telling us to carry out some experiment, right? So after every experiment there will be a results. So what are those results they have mentioned? So let's see that. Note that angles shown by part 1 and part 2 form a linear pair. Okay, place part 1 and part 2 on each angle in figure A. Okay, which angle coincide with the part 1? So what are the angles which coincide with part 1 and which angles coincide with the part 2? So this is the exercise. If you carry out properly, then you will find the angles which are equal, right? So we see that what are the things like angle B, this is a B, D, that is D, F, and H are equal, right? These are the corresponding to this angle 1. Okay, already we have, suppose if you take the paper, cut and do all the exercise, you will find out that this one, sorry, is equal to B, D, F, and H. So these are the equal angles, right? Similarly, if we take this part like second part, right? Part 2, then what will happen? It will be similar to A, C, E, and G. Okay, so these are the pairs which are the equal. Okay, so that is the observation of this exercise. So as we know, and we have carried out this experiment, so we know that these are the equal angles. So from this can be the basis, or this can be the fundamental for understanding more about these different angles, right? What are the angles we have learned before this, like corresponding angle, interior angle, or alternate angles. So now we know that these, if there are two parallel lines and one transversal line, then the angle formed by this pairs, like total four pairs angles, and total eight angles are formed here. So these four angles are equal and other four angles are equal, right? So now we know that these angles are equal. So we can understand the properties of these angles very clearly. Okay, so see, now uh, to we know that angle A and angle E is equal, right? Because we have already carried out this exercise. Similarly, B and F, I will just try to make different color so that it will be easy to grasp the subject. And similarly, D and H, and C and G. So these are the equal angles, right? So what we can infer, or what we can conclude from this, that when there are two parallel lines, there is transversal line, all the corresponding angles, pairs, right? Pairs of corresponding angles are equal, right? So this is a very important property to understand. Okay, so whenever we are designing any system, so if there are two parallel lines and if we are intersecting, so we can come to know that okay, these corresponding angles are equal, and this property we can use for many things like so suppose means I'm giving you just an example where we are building these two walls. Okay, and if we put this another wall in between and we are trying to understand whether these two are parallel or not, right? So how can we when we are building two walls, how will we come to know that these are the two parallels or not? So this is the one property we can use. There are many things, but we can use this one property. We can just put one line and try to measure this angle, and if these angles are equal, then we can say these two walls are parallel, right? So there are different ways or different things which we use, like if we are designing one machine and we need to carry out the inspection between these two parallel walls, right? These are the two parallel walls. सो आपल्याला म्हणजे काही काही गोष्टी मशीनमध्ये असतात जशा की दोन परफेक्टली आपल्याला पॅरल पाहिजे असतात. मग जर त्या पॅरल बनवायच्या असतील, आपण बनवल्या, ओके, पण आपल्याला टेस्ट सुद्धा करायचे आहेत की ती खरोखरच पॅरल आहेत की आणि त्यांची साईज एवढी लहान असते की आपल्याला समजत सुद्धा नाही की त्या पॅरल आहेत की नाही. ओके, आपल्याला म्हणजे आपण व्हिज्युअली जर बघितलं तर आपल्याला समजेल ओ दिस इज राईट, परफेक्टली ऑल राईट, बट we need proof. We are like scientists or we are like engineers, right? We can't just say. आपण कोणती पण गोष्ट असं क्वालिटेटिव्हली बोलू शकत नाही, हा दिस इज गुड, दिस इज बॅड. नो, वी नीड ऑलवेज प्रूफ. हाऊ कॅन वी से दॅट दिस इज पॅरलल? आपण कसं म्हणू शकतो की ह्या पॅरलल आहेत म्हणून? ओके, सो these properties comes into handy while designing such type of system. सो दोन आपण असं पॅरलल प्लेट्स बनवल्या, ज्यांना दोन पॅरल प्लेट्स बनवल्या, ज्यांना अशा दोन पॅरल प्लेट्स आहेत आणि त्यांच्यामधलं आपल्याला पॅरलिझम चेक करायचं आहे. सो व्हॉट आर द डिफरंट वेज? ओके, सो one is like we can just try to measure angle here and here, and if these are the equal, then we can say. Okay, so there are different ways, different properties. So that's why I'm telling you guys that this is a fundamental, very important, and if you understand very well, then you don't know this knowledge you can utilize anywhere. Okay, so this is the one property which we learned just now about corresponding angles. So what are the corresponding angles are there? These are the equals. These pairs always are equal. Okay, okay, so going ahead, so let's understand about interior alternate angle, right? So D and F. So D and F are equal. Similarly, E and C, I will take another color. E and C are also equal. Okay, so always keep in mind that corresponding angle as well as alternate angle. So now we understood that interior alternate angles. So similarly for uh, exterior alternate angle also, B and H. And I'll take pink color. So A and G. So these are also exterior alternate angles, and these are also equal. Okay, so corresponding angle as well as alternate angles are equal. So let's see what happens to interior angles only. Okay, so interior angles like D and E. Okay, where is D? So D and E. So whenever we add those angles, their property is 180 degree. Okay. So similarly, if we see C and F, I'll take another color, C and F. If we add those, so their measurement will give us 180 degree. Okay. Sorry. So always alternate interior angles will have the summation of the interior angles are 180 degree. Okay. Okay. So now if you have any question, you can just put it in the chat box. If not, I will go ahead. Okay. I think there is. Okay. So this is the question. Let's discuss. When two parallel lines, okay, when two parallel lines are intersected by transversal and eight angles are formed, right? If measure one of this angle, eight angles is given, can we find measures of remaining seven angles? Yes. Okay. So let's try to understand this exercise. So there are two parallel lines. Okay, and there is one transversal. So if one angle is given, I will go randomly. Suppose this angle is given. Okay. So whether we can carry out or we can measure other seven angles? Yes. Right. Sorry. So there are different ways, different there are multiple ways to uh, understand or get this solution of this problem. But I'm keeping it with you so that but yeah, it's good that you understood and you have mentioned the answer yes. So and okay, I will try to pose one such problem for you so that I will see that. Okay. So here in this figure we know the all angles and everything, right? So if I say that what is measurement of A plus measurement of H is how much? Can you write in the chat box? Measurement of A and measurement of H. That's correct. Yeah. 180 degree. Not only 80, it's 180. So yeah, that's good. So hopefully I'm not uh, asking you the process, but hopefully you have figured it out that how to solve this problem. Okay. Uh, Similarly, what is measurement of B plus measurement of E? Okay, what is the answer here? B and E. Very fast. That's really nice. I can see very good students here. Good. It's 180 degree. Yeah. So again, I'm not asking you guys. Hopefully, you have figured it out that how to solve this problem, how to check like B and E and these properties, how to utilize these properties so that you can get this answer, right? So always try to understand these properties very well. and from that you will get the answer. Okay, so yeah, I think, okay, now I will ask one question to you, whether mm, the is equal to measurement of G. Is it true or false? So angle D and angle G are equal. That's what I have mentioned here. Is it true or false? Mhm. Yeah, people are writing false, and that's the correct answer. So these two angles are not equal. Okay. So um, that's the thing. Like I'm just thinking randomly that what whether this can be equal, or this can what is the measurement of these angles. So I'm just randomly thinking and asking more question to this figure, or more questions to the properties, whether we can utilize these properties. So that's what I want from you guys, that ask more questions here by yourself and try to get those answers, so whatever the questions I ask, right, these are the things it is not mentioned here. But what is the answer for this, or what is the answer for this? Is it true or false? So such type of questions keep asking, so that you will understand better way about these subjects. Okay, so let's go further. Okay, so they have mentioned whatever earlier we have discussed in length about this. So let's discuss again. So properties of corresponding angle, and we have seen in earlier section that each pair of corresponding angles found by two parallel lines. So this is a very important thing, two parallel lines. If those lines are not parallel, this property will not work. Please understand this. Okay, and they're transversal of congruent angles. Okay, so these are the in it's congruent angles. Okay, so what does it mean? That whatever the corresponding angles are equal, right? Their measurements are always equal. So similarly, for property of alternate angles, so each pair of alternate angles found by two parallel lines. So again, please keep in please note down this thing, like two parallel lines. Alternate angles are equal when those are the two parallel lines. Okay, and property for interior angles, each pair of interior angles found by two parallel lines and their transversal is of supplementary angles. What is meant by supplementary angles? So addition or measurement of those two angles are 180-degree. Okay, so this way we have defined the properties of different angles, right? So one is corresponding angle, where corresponding angles are all are equal. Then alternate angles, all the alternate angles, pair of alternate angles, that's a proper statement. Pair of alternate angles for the parallel lines are equal or congruent angles. And for interior angles, it is supplementary angles. Okay, so these are the properties, and please note down all these properties, because these are really useful in future like future career, or wherever you go, become doctor, engineers, or anywhere, right? So these are the very helpful properties and handy. So let's go to the next thing. These are the solved examples. So let's try to understand and try to solve this as early as possible. So, okay, what I will do, change the color. Okay, so in this figure, line AB is parallel to line PQ. Okay, and line LM is transversal line. So they have given the one angle M and Q. Okay, and they want to find out measurement of this AON. Okay, so there are different ways they are mentioned, like opposite angle, interior angle, or corresponding angle. So here, what we can say that uh, okay. So first we will go with method one. So we know that M and Q and O and P. So I will try to change color. Okay. So M and Q, right? So these angles, it's already fine. O and P, so this angle, these are the opposite angles, and opposite angles are equal, right? So this becomes 70 degree. Okay. So this angle also becomes, so that is O and P, that becomes 70 degree. Now we know the property like measurement of AON and PNO or ONP becomes 180 degree because those are the supplementary angles, right? So we know the 180 degree. So from this we can calculate the angle AON, that is 110. Another way to solve this problem is, I will take another color. So M and Q is 70 degree. Okay. Then measurement of NOB. So this is NOB. NOB becomes 70 degree because of corresponding angle. Then we know the this principle on one line is like two angles. The addition of those angles is 180 degree. So these two angles AON and NOB becomes 180 degree. Addition of those angles becomes 180 degree. So from this we can calculate the measurement of AON, and this is 110 degree. Okay, so there are two different ways. Whichever you feel um, good or whichever feel easy, you can try those stuff and get the answer. So main purpose of this exercise is to understand the properties and how to utilize in a efficient way. Okay, so uh, this is all for today. I think we are good. We are almost there to the end of the class. So see you next time. Till then, take care and have a great evening. Okay, thank you, and please leave the meeting. I will be the last to leave this meeting. So sorry. Okay, take care. Good evening. See you next time, next Thursday.